lady about me. And ever since me and her connected, like she's been kind of helping me, like as far as like understanding it, seeing a little bit better. She gave me a book to kind of help, and then of course I've done like a lot of research as well. And I've met like a lot of different like people that's like divinely connected, and you know like with their spirituality and the past lives. We've talked about that. Like.
So let me ask you, when you have deja vu or something, is that a form of a past life, or do you?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
So like the moment y'all just had, right? The whole camera situation. Like, I knew that I had already seen that because y'all had already done that. That's why I told you it was a moment of synchronicity. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is gonna happen, and that's why I explained it to you.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, it just feels like it feels like a daydream, like it's not intrusive, right? Spirits are never intrusive intentionally, so it's just like a daydream. You just feel like you've done it before. And you're like, okay, so this is what's supposed to happen next, and you just go with it.
Yeah.
That sounds really cool.
And then you're vegetarian too, are you?
I was trying to be one.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask if that had anything to do with it. Does that have anything to do with it for you?
Not necessarily. I mean, my connection to animals and things didn't really change from when I was a carnivore to now. I just don't consume flesh. So, you know, and I do like intermediate veganism. So I'm actually coming up on a vegan plan. So I'll transition.
See, there's such a thing. People keep acting like I can't be 90% vegan or 80%. Like, I mean, I can't do it all the way. It just doesn't work. I do feel guilty, like, going back to, like, meat and stuff. I'm like, damn, like, those animals. Like, I really think about it. Even though I hate animals at the same time, I really don't want them to come near me. But I want to know, like, who are you guys beyond the spirits? Like, who are you? How would you define yourself? What do you do for a living?
I'm an artist.
You're an artist. How so?
Man, I'm actually an artist in every sense of the word. I have actual paintings, fine art that I do. Actually working on a collective right now, and it's going to be called the Creative Culture Collective. So, and it's actually taking canvas artwork from traditionally retirement homes, stuff that you'd see that were exclusive to our kind at the time, and whitening them out or blacking them out, and then painting empowerment pieces over them or systematic pieces over them. So I have a book called Soul Press Pages on Amazon.
Okay.
It's a poetry collection.
Right. Snap one. Black
Remind me after the show.
I
I'll find that book because I need to add that to my wish list.
But it's a poetry collective about the transition of me to her, and the anxieties to go with it, the highs and lows. Just it's like a poetry Bible is what I call it. So like you're going through something, there's a poem that will remedy it or give you some kind of solace that you didn't know that you needed in a sense.
That's dope as
Oh,
fuck.
I like that.
And then outside of that, I'm a chef. So I have a catering company called Tropical Flame Catering.
Okay.
We have our own
Tropical
spice
Flame.
line coming, so y'all look out.
Oh.
What type of stuff do you be cooking up?
Caribbean Light Infusion. Caribbean Light
sounds pretty
Infusion.
good.
I know, I'm ready for
Any
that.
vegan dishes?
Oh, I'm vegetarian. I've been
Okay.
vegetarian for 5 years, so
So yes.
and I like I said, I do intermediate veganism. So yeah, we got tons of vegan dishes. We do meal preps. We do hot meals that you can come and actually pick up. So yeah.
Pick up. Where's pick up?
We actually have a pickup location in Grapevine.
Okay.
So you call, place your order. You can come through and pick up a hot meal. We do cold prep meal deliveries, so you can put in orders for the week. Pick up meals. We've been in business since I was 18.
Okay.
So
How old are you now?
I'm 32.
Okay, cool.
So
Okay. Black and cracking. Let's get it. Okay.
What about you?
So, I do have a full-time job that I'm working. It's funding my hustle. I work for Centos. I do I deliver and sell first aid and safety products. And then, so my hustles, the things I'm about to quit my job to do. I have a photography business, so I'm a really good photographer. And then also, me and my best friend are starting our own brand. We're gonna start selling like crystals, all natural facial scrubs, body scrubs. Like basically, the mission is we want it to be so natural that you can eat it.
Oh.
Like that's how. So we've been working with a lot of like herbalists.
Nice.
And so we've been like, right. So we've been experimenting with like a lot of like this lady that my mom has a lot of connections. She grew like fresh lavender, so we've gotten like fresh lavender from her. Fresh, what was the other? It's like, I can't remember the other herbs right now, but she'll give us like all types of herbs for free.
Mm-hmm.
Like she'd just be like, here, take this, take that, try this. And we've looked up recipes. The only thing is trying to find out how not to put alcohol in it, because she says like, so if you use alcohol to infuse like with any kind of herb, it'll bring out those oils from the herb, but then you still got alcohol in it. So that's what we're trying to work on right now.
Mm-hmm.
But and then other than that, I'm a soldier in the National Guard, and I'm a mom. So yeah.
Got a lot going on. Y'all better go ahead.
All right, I ain't mad at you.
Y'all staying busy, and we appreciate y'all for coming to kick off the new season. If y'all haven't listened to the last season, go ahead and listen.
Please do.
But this one, astrology, numerology, are y'all know all of that? Numerology, the birth.
I bought a book about numerology because I'm trying to get more into it, because I'm always seeing, like I've been seeing angel numbers for the past 3 years, and it's always like the same kind of, it's always the same sequence. They're always in threes, and I get a lot of sevens, I get a lot of threes. I've gotten some nine, like I've gotten triple nines, and then now if I do, like sometimes I'll see 666, and of course that just means like stop, pause, try to find out what you need to, like what you actually need to do before you proceed with whatever decision you're gonna make. I get some of those sometimes, but like I've a lot of three. I just keep seeing a lot of three.
That's my favorite number. I just don't know.
It's the tranquility. So you're connected with, of course, all three of the spirits. So like basically, just like with the Bible, how they talk about the Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. So basically kind of like the same thing. It's just like that divine moment at that time. So yeah, I know a little bit about it, but I just bought a book, so I read a lot too. So I just bought a book from Barnes & Noble about numerology, and then I found out my mom had a book about numerology, and I guess that's really where I get a lot of my spirituality from, is from her, because she's a prophet. Like, she low-key is a prophet. Like, people have like gotten letters from her. Like in training, she would send out stuff to people, and they're like, your mom's a prophet. Like, how did she even know that this was going on? So I know a lot of it is from her. I get a lot of like my intuition from her, and a lot of my connectivity. And so of course we do like a lot of saging. We do use like mementos in the house to try to keep the energy cleansed. And it's funny, like if we get into it or something, or if we like have like a little falling out, we be the first ones over there saging. Like, get this out of here.
That's funny too. I be saging my mom. I already got that energy. Get it away.
Walking around saging my
If
mom.
you get into it with your mom, you be like, Mom, hold on. I was good, Mom. Why you come interrupt
This
me?
is an evergreen bundle moment, Mom. It's an evergreen bundle moment. I know that the desert sage wasn't gonna work for this. I tried it.
And then that maybe we can,
And it's
get on
funny
another
'cause
level.
we be trying to be slick about it though, because we'll like, she'll do it or I'll do it, and we'll be like we will start saging, like, and I'll smell it in my room and be like, she over here saging.
Oh yeah, so I'm the one?
Right.
Really? Really? You're cleansing me?
That's funny.
Different kind of angry? Really? Really?
Right. Like,
So I want to know, like, what are y'all's hobbies or talents, and like, how do you think your spirituality like played a part into it? Like, how do you think it like connects, if it does?
Connects into everything. Like I said, I mean, most of the things that I know how to do in this lifetime, I didn't teach myself in this lifetime. So, remembering different things, knowing how to, process feelings. I'm doing a lot of healing for like my ancestors this lifetime, right? So, filtering a lot of different things that most people don't understand, I guess, in a sense. So, like solving issues that have been years since passed, but need to be resolved in order for the family as a unit to move forward, type stuff. So, all of that plays a part, creating the story and art and word and food, culture, bringing people together. All of that plays a part. It's all a part of the process.
What's up to you? What about you?
guess a lot of it with me, with just seeing auras is like, so I'm such an open person to people. Like when I first meet people, I'm always like, hey, like I just kind of come up and I'll start a conversation with you. But I feel like a lot of that has to do with my spirit, and it's always like I've been like that since I was like a child. But I've always just felt like just kind of drawn to people. And the funny thing is, my name means light. So Whitney means light, and of course that's what like everybody would like refer to me as. And like I do have people that were like, oh yeah, like that's Light. Like they'll nickname me Light or something. Like even in high school, people would call me Light. But I found out that that was what my name meant. And I feel like a lot of my spirituality, like with seeing, with like, because even like getting visions and stuff, sometimes I'll have like a vision or something about somebody, and it won't be like necessarily something bad. It'll just kind of be like, oh shoot, they're going through it, and then I'll just know like, let me like, hey, like, yeah, like let me sit down and talk with you. Yeah, like, and people are like, how do you know? Like, and they'll tell me what's going on, and I'm like, I don't know. But I mean, now and I'm like, oh no, Spirit told me. Spirit was over there in my ear talking about, go check them out. It's something, something off.
That makes sense.
And like, and even like with, because it's funny, because I'll like, well, like me and my mom or me and my friends will talk about stuff. I won't know exactly what they're talking about, but as soon as they start talking about it, it's like I know. Mm-hmm. And I'm like,
and I'll connections.
Exactly. And I'll be like, yeah, so this, that, yeah, this, that, you have to do this. And then I'll be sitting there like, how do you even know this stuff? Like, but I'm like, but my spiritual healer used to say that's your past life. Like that's your past life connecting to your 3D dimension now. Like so.
I tell people all the time. So if you wanna understand what the experience is like, and you're a gamer, think of Assassin's Creed. Okay, like every time he jumps off the building and he like plunges back into like something he remembers, it's the same thing, but we're just walking back through it, right? Like I'm an empath. I'm a really big empath. Like my best friend lives in Austin currently. He lived in Colorado before that. But anytime he's going through something, I know it. I don't have to talk to him for months. I haven't talked to him right now for probably about 6-7 months, but he's good and I know it. But if I wanted to talk to him, I would know exactly when to call. I have a friend. She's an old coworker. She always freaks out because every time she's going through something, I'm like, okay, what's up? She's like, what are you talking about? I was like, okay, you can do this part. I don't know. You tell me. What happened? She's like, how did you even know? I'm like, dude, listen. So the other day I was literally at my house. I was minding my business. Her name is spelled really weird. And I never see it anywhere, ever. And I'm on my phone just scrolling, minding my business. Her name pops up. Different person, different ethnicity, everything. And I'm just like, called her. As soon as I called her, this. And she's like, how do you do that? I'm like, I don't know, dude. Stop intruding. What do you want? Okay, let's talk about it. Let's go through it. We'll sit and we'll talk about it. She's like, there's no way that you wouldn't. I'm like, I don't know why I'm supposed to tell you these things. That's just what I'm here for. So let's go through it. She'll break it down or whatever. And I always know. It's weird. I always freaks her out.
No, I believe in it. I never used to believe in it until I was on Victoria when we were doing this episode. I was at a bar with my aunt, and it was a lady, and I saw her when she walked in. I was like, I've never seen her before, but okay, she looks familiar. But then when I'm sitting down with my aunt, she just came over to me, had cards in her hands, and was like, the spirits are talking to me, like, I need to read to you. And I'm like, are you drunk? We were at a bar. So I'm like, are you drunk? What's going on? But she starts putting down cards, told me to flip it, and reading me. And I'm just, told me things about my mom, that how could she know, relationships.
Spirits are somewhat intrusive.
It was just, yeah, but it was just like, it wasn't anything bad. It was just things that I probably needed to hear at that time. You know what I mean?
So I actually I interviewed a girl. She wanted to come on, but she's pregnant, so her due date's today or whatever. So I'm gonna upload the interview. You guys will see it later. But I interviewed her, and she read she did tarot readings for me or whatever. Mm-hmm. And me and her were discussing how tarot readings are stuff you already know. Mm. It's just that someone else has to say it to confirm it in your mind, so you can really know and understand what to do. Because a lot of what she was telling me, I was like, damn, I've already thought this about myself, but I shoved it in the back of my mind and just kept powering through my day or whatever. So that makes you stop for a second and just be like,
it actually grasped it. Yeah, and since then, let's just say, I'm good.
out.
And to figure out what she was saying, like with the angel numbers. So right now, like we're in like dual moons, right? So like angel numbers are supposed to keep appearing. Like if you're not seeing angel numbers,
Something's
we're
wrong.
not gonna talk
What
about
is
it.
222 then? Do y'all know what that one is?
The act, I can tell you, I can hack them.
Right, that's like.
I can tell you.
Because I looked it up, but I forgot. I just been seeing it a lot lately, and I'm a 333.
Right.
1, 2,
You're
3,
a
4.
333 here?
Yeah.
She's like, wait a minute. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
444 is
I have no
protection.
clue what
444. I see that one too all the time.
222 is actually alignment. You're in the right place at the right time.
Oh.
Okay. Your 333 is actually support. So your
Oh, yeah, you
spiritual
said
guides
that,
are around
yeah.
you.
Yes.
And it just regrounds you on your journey. You're going down the right path. 666 is actually not a devil number. I don't know why people tell you that. So let me clarify.
Okay,
Let me dive into this, okay, before we go any further. So 666 is actually symbolic of reflection, not of fear. So if you're scared to reflect, then you have something you need to deal with anyway. You understand? So if the number 666 scares you, there's a little devil in you probably need to take care of. You understand? The devil is you, not the number. The number is still a trinity. It's still, you know, it's like if every other trinity is powerful and positive, why would 666 be negative?
Right.
The devil
You get what I'm
is
saying? It's literally that's just like Kemetic origins and, you know, Yoruba gods and deities and things that have been manipulated and skewed from a negative perspective to take their power. Okay? It makes sense. The more that you fear reflection, the less you reflect, the more you move forward. Right? But if you never reflect, how can you really move forward? It's impossible, right? You're always going to be weighted down by your past. But if 666 scares you, because you've been programmed for it to scare you, right?
True enough.
Why would you ever reflect?
Exactly.
That's true.
Think
Very
about
true.
it.
Very true.
I mean, it's just a
I'm
fact.
gonna snap to that.
Right. That's what I'm like, that's.
That makes me think a little bit.
Because I'm not the devil.
Right. So I need to figure out who it is.
Yeah, people think that it's something, and it's not. Like transcendence is supposed to be scary. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. Every level that you transition to is supposed to be a little bit harder to get to. That's the whole point, right?
Right.
But if it's always easy, if every next level of your life is super easy, then are you really going down the right path? Because you're supposed to be learning something, right?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Pressure busts pipes, but it also builds phoenixes.
I guess,
You know what I'm saying? It
that's-
creates a phoenix. So
Yes.
which one? Which one is it? Like, are you going through the path of least resistance? Or are you going through the path you're supposed to be going through to make you into the warrior you need to be at the end?
So with past, like, do you feel energy from Victoria and I? Like, can you see a little something? You don't see into our lives. So what do you feel?
I feel your energy. I don't really see into your life because I've never actually had physical contact with either one of you.
Mm-hmm. So what do you feel when you?
Y'all are really well balanced. The house is balanced, so I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't.
That's how Victoria wanted to hear. He's like, I'm safe.
No paranormal activity, okay?
Yeah, I didn't want to hear any like fucked up shit.
No
about my
paranormal
apartment.
activity. We Gucci.
I haven't seen
No.
anything that would say otherwise.
Okay.
It
that's
feels
dope.
good in here. Like,
I feel great. So
yeah,
I'm good.
like that's why I was like, I'm comfortable. I'm like relaxed. It feels good in here. Like I told you when I walked in, I said, ooh.
Okay.
Like I was
Shit.
like I really liked it when I walked in. I was like, okay, I was like, the energy feels good in here.
And
You know
once you
what?
tap into it, you'll start feeling it too. You'll start walking into people's house and being like,
I
Right.
think I already do that in a sense, but it's like
Yeah,
judgment.
yeah.
Right.
It's not really
Time to go.
spiritual. It's more judgment. Whoops.
Judgment.
But Zach, you're telling me like the other day, like the same thing, like because you can feel energies too.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about that? Because I am intrigued from all aspects.
So for me, I have like an intuition of events, and then I can also feel spirits and energies. So like whenever I enter a room, I can feel if there's something in the room, and I can feel where it's at in the room. So like my protection spirits stay near doors, for example. So if I'm in a room with something that I can feel, and I can feel it near a door, it's usually above it, it comes to me as protection. The event stuff, I can usually, like, I don't know, I just get these, like, a gut feeling about something and go with it, and it's usually correct, I guess. But you can, to me, I can walk into somewhere and feel, like, good or bad. Because to me, if it's a bad, like, if it feels like a bad energy, it feels like something's on my chest. and it gives me anxiety. But I don't feel that in here at all. Yeah.
So how would you like turn around a toxic work environment?
Sugar pots. You gotta make sugar pot.
Wait.
Simple sugar pot.
What?
So easy.
Explain
So
that.
a sugar pot. You take a small jar of some sort with a lid, fill it with honey, agave, some natural sweetener. I'm an alchemist as well, by the way.
Yes.
So put it into a jar. You can also use. I use gifts. I usually use gifts of offering when I do it to thank whoever's gotten transition, right? So I use like candula flowers or yarrow flowers, depending. And then you write names on paper and push the paper into the honey and seal it and leave it. And you sweeten your connection with that person. So what happens is it's kind of like pheromones in a sense. So they won't know why they want to be nice to you,
Okay.
but they'll want to be nice to you.
Alright, I'm trying out.
You
So I put the flour in the jar.
Sweetener.
Sugar.
Sugar.
The point of it is the sugar,
So sugar.
and you never open it and remove a name.
Okay, so
Can you put
the
multiple
gift
names?
of offering though, that's what I'm, so I get a jar, I can put some honey in it,
Mm-hmm.
I put a name in it.
Yep.
Plug
And
it.
I always do an offering. So usually what I do is I'll take like yellow roses.
Okay.
You know, the goddess Oshun, representation of like yellow roses, sunflowers, yellow in general, her color. So I would offer like a yellow flower petal or yarrow flower or whatever it happens to be to the to the goddess in a sense for guiding that transition, right? Most career fields that I work in are male driven. Most of them are definitely not African American female driven. So being able to navigate people, their energies, their own personal disparities, it usually takes sweetening some pots. If that makes sense. Because some people don't realize that the issue is them, you know. But it's easier for you to address physical insult than mental or emotional insult. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's easier to manipulate somebody's mental from a distance.
That's like some voodoo, New Orleans. Come on, Mr. Leo. That's all of that. Okay, I'm gonna try that. Speaking of pots, are we ready for the pot? Can we get into the pot?
Yeah.
Can we ask some questions?
For sure.
Hi.
Are there any comments
That's
going
what the
in
pot
there?
is.
So one comment I thought was interesting. Somebody said that her spiritual connection also comes from her maternal side, which is interesting because mine does as well. So is that? I'm wondering if that's like a thing.
You know what? I never really considered myself a spiritual person, but I may be an empath because I can feel like when something's wrong in a situation, and I can't really let that rest. I have to address it immediately. So I mean, I didn't answer your question, but I just wanted to say.
It's just an interesting
So-
thought.
Yeah.
Was that the mama?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say,
Go ahead.
and it's funny that they said that because I really didn't start noticing that until after I was a mother. Like after I was a mother, that's when I started getting a lot more of like.
Yes.
I just started seeing more. I started getting more visions. I started hearing voices in my head. Like, wait, what? Like it was literally when my daughter was like maybe 6 months.
Yeah.
And between 6 months and a year, me and her father were going through. It was like an extremely rough patch. I mean, this man is my best friend. Like we're cool now. Like we're not together or anything. But that's when a lot of my spirituality started just kind of like my life started going out of control. My life was out of control. Everything was like I was losing stuff. I lost homes. I was homeless. I was like I had to go live with my parents. It was I was having issues at work. I started losing money at my job. I mean, it was just chaotic. It was a chaotic, but I mean, now I know, like, it was a transition. Mm-hmm. I was transitioning into the person that I am now. And everything, I started questioning everything else. I started questioning, because I was trying to go, like, I was trying to do the right thing. I was trying to be a better Christian, I guess. Mm-hmm. So I was, like, going to church more often, and it was, like, still wasn't sitting right. Like, I'd be sitting there in church, and I'm like, okay, I'm taking notes, I'm looking at the Bible, I'm flipping through, and I'm like, okay, yep, and it just wasn't sitting right. And I'm like, well, I'm praying, I'm doing this, I'm tithing, I'm, you know, like I'm doing everything else that they teach us to do, but my life is still out of control. Like, what is going on? And so then that's when I found Pastor Beckett from California, and I forgot what his church is called, but he allows everybody. Doesn't matter if you believe in, you know, in the Christian God or not. Everybody's welcome to his church, no matter what you believe in. And I started listening more to him, and he would refer to spirit. He would say, and let the spirit lead you. He wouldn't be like, oh, let God, like he has a Christian background too as well, but he'd be like, don't let God, like he would just say, let spirit lead you. Listen to whatever spirit is telling you to do. And I'm like, so then I started connecting more with that. So that's why I'm like, that's funny that they said that, because it was when I was getting better as far as like adjusting to motherhood. That's when all of it. So yeah, like.
And so the back door off of that, just so the reason that happens is because the power of the yoni is the all mother. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So once you become a mother, you reconnect to the all mother, right?
Right.
You've now given birth.
Right.
As Mother Nature gave birth, right? As the universe gave birth to you and gave you to Mother Nature as your surrogate mother, in a sense, which is how you got here. So as you reconnect to your all mother, it's why things start getting a little bit more powerful. You have to be able to summon the power of the all mother to protect your seed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Especially in today's day and time, right? So that's why there's a lot of all mothers awakening that have never been awakened before. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people who are reconnecting to spirituality who never have before, because you're gonna need it. You know, you have to summon your past to be able to present for your future, which is why I said this entire life for me has been about healing this stuff for you guys, so we can be ready for what's happening right now. Because yeah, that's still happening, but we can't stay there. You know, but I mean, think about it. So God being an entity, God is an entity, right? I don't believe in the sanctity of religions. I don't believe in books and religious buildings and all this different stuff, because if you're really spirit, then you shouldn't be contained to place, right? So that's just my perspective. So I believe in spirituality. I believe that there is a connection to God being the all mother, being the origin of all things. But we were all born of woman, right? If you were born of woman, you cannot be born of man. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Your father can't go have you,
Yes.
right? And further the bloodline. Your father can't reconnect you to all mother. It's never his purpose. You're just a shepherd. You're supposed to help, aid, and you know what I'm saying, aid and protect. But the mother connects you to everything. Think about it. A woman's able to bear how much pain during birth? It's not even human, the amount of pain that you can go through to bring your child into this world. You know what I'm saying? But you do it, and
so it's
you
like
can do it.
Like it's inherently maternal.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because think about it. I mean, your mother is your beacon for most things. A lot of people who have like severe mental issues, stuff like that, there's a disconnect from their mother. There's some kind of disconnect from the maternal, right? Now, today's age, we don't do the same things we used to do for mother and child, right? When children were born, originally they were placed on their mother's chest to hear their heartbeat before they were ever removed or touched by anybody else, right? Father caught baby, cut umbilical cord, placed baby on mother's chest. That's not what happens anymore. Now, father or doctor or nurse or random person cuts baby, right, and picks it up and prints it and weighs it and moves it and does this, that, and the third, whatever. And then eventually the baby gets back to mommy. But you made connection with 50 people before you touched your mother.
Is my baby going right here? You better.
You know what I'm saying?
Come
So
to mama, honey.
that's why so many more people are switching, transitioning back to
crazy.
midwives. That's why so many people are
Yeah.
transitioning back to home births, because
That's
you
true. I've
want
seen an increase of that.
you
Yeah.
want that
Multiple.
connection, and you don't get that in hospitals. The rate of you know, ethnically diverse child who passes during birth is a lot higher in hospitals than it is for some, right? But think about it. We were giving birth in fields long before we had hospitals.
Right. Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, it just makes sense. You go through that literal physical change to produce not just your own being, but an entire other soul. You know? Like, think about it. You're splitting a soul from your soul.
I'm okay
and
with having
birthing
home
it.
birth. Yeah, we can do that. Just
You
as
get
long
what
as they
I'm
got the epidural right there. Who would have got that? Cause
You know what I'm saying? But I mean, and even if you have to use an epidural, there's nothing, you can't take anything away from a woman for doing that. You wanna know why? You haven't been running through the bush, tackling lions, and you have not been conditioned to bear children the way that they once were. Like, it's not the same.
Hats off to all the mothers out there
I'm
right
saying,
now. Okay?
C-sections, home births, whatever. Every mother out there, I don't care if you had the baby at the house, the garage, whatever. Hats off to you. Why? Because you gave birth to an entire soul. That's crazy.
But so I just want to go ahead and mention, if you are watching, go ahead and send this to like a lot of other people, because this is going to get good.
So someone asked, what would you say to somebody who's questioning their spirituality right now?
Question it. Question it. Question it. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay? I've studied the 42 laws of Ma'at, whatever, right? I've studied the Quran. I've studied the Bible. I've looked at Judaism, Buddhism. Think about it. If you were to die and be reborn in a completely different country, raised in a different family, under a different religion, what would you believe? Whatever you were taught. Right? Your connection to religion is based off of your environment, your family. So question it. You want to know why? Because any God that is worried about you questioning if they're God, are they really God? You know what I'm saying? Like, you shouldn't, that's like a dude questioning his masculinity because his girl's getting hit on by another woman, okay? Well, I mean, come on, guy. Like, I mean, are you really that big of a, masculine dude? Are you really secure in yourself if you're scared to question? Like, does that make you more powerful or less powerful? You know what I'm saying? That you're scared to question anything. Just following the path, staying in the lines, bowing and just listening. How far has it gotten you? Like you said,
Right.
when you were going through your transition, you did everything the Bible told you to do.
Exactly.
There's also parts in the Bible that tell you to just follow your master, right?
Right.
But who's the master? Who are you supposed to follow when you don't know who else to follow?
Exactly.
You have to seek. You have to seek that counsel,
But I
right?
don't think the concept of like God and church I don't think that should be lost on people either, because in my mind, I see it all as like one and the same. Like a lot of religions and spirituality, like I see it as one and the same. Like I do see prayer and manifestation as like the same thing, kind of. Like I know people are saying like you're manifesting from within yourself, but within the church, you're told that God is in you, Christ is in you. So I mean, I'm a Catholic. We take the communion, like that's like symbolic in itself. So I just think like all of that kind of goes together, and I don't feel like people have to abandon one or be afraid to explore,
There's a perversion of anything. I mean, there's a perversion of anything. Think about it like this as well. The Bible was written, by all these different, disciples, this and third, and translated, so we got the King James. I don't know who King James is, right? All I'm saying is we went a long way before we got the King James. You lost a lot of stuff before you got the King James, okay? If we played telephone right now and I whispered something in her ear and it went around this room for 150 years, would it be the same by the time we got to the last person? So it's not that you have to abandon your religion or your faith, because faith is different, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You have to understand that anything that is written by man can be perverted by man.
For sure.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Anything that can be written by man can be perverted by man. You get what I'm saying? Like anything that's going on right now, think about it, was because somebody said it.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Guys are better. Why? Because we said so. Alright, cool. We're all going to follow that. Y'all aren't. Why? Because we said so. Now we're all going to follow that. It's the same thing with most things. Most things are just herd mentality. They did the study. If you go into a room and you randomly start standing up every 15 minutes, eventually someone's going to join you. Why? Because they don't know why you're standing up, but they try to figure out, like, if you're going to win a prize or something, they really don't know why you're doing it, but eventually other people will join you. I mean, think about it. That's a proven study.
I got to stretch too real quick.
Okay, but if you're the most interactive viewer, remember we're doing this giveaway. You get $50. Okay, so we're monitoring.
Can I participate?
I don't know. we have any more questions?
We have one more before we get to the pot.
Who said it too?
Said, call me Jessie.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks for tuning in. Let's say hi to them.
And okay, so she said, I've been trying to connect with God, but I find it hard. Like I'm in today and tomorrow I'm out. Does that make me a bad Christian?
I don't think so.
No.
Not at all. Because there's so many factors within life that is, steering you from like really connecting with God. And I feel like there's a lot more people who are straying from religion, so that makes it even harder because it's easier to do things when other people are around you are doing it. So I feel like you just have to keep being consistent until you can find a way to really connect with God the way that is right for you. So.
Yeah, and I think we all go through things. So I mean, you might be in a trying time right now. Keep your faith, keep your head up, journal, try to do some self-evaluation, figure out what's best for you right now, and then all of that will come because we all are tried. Okay, because I done questioned God, before too, but we have to always look at the bigger picture and do the self-work. It's a lot of work we have to do within ourselves. So.
You gotta sit and do your shadow work. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like doing shadow work, that's the scariest, most amazingly exhilarating transition you'll ever go through. Like sitting down and looking at all your flaws and not being scared of them. Being like, you know what? All right, I may be a
Yeah.
like, you know what? Or you know what?
Be honest with yourself.
Maybe, okay, or maybe it's not that. Maybe it's not that you're an a-hole. It's that when you enter a room and someone's energy is very intrusive, you're like, could you put that away? Like, could you? I can't concentrate with all this you got going.
That's what I do. I feel like I misuse my energy sometimes because I can tell off bat how somebody is, and if I feel like a way about it, like I may address it, and I'm like, no, this is how it really is, or whatever. So I feel like sometimes, like if you don't explore a certain side, like you're going to like encounter it in a like detrimental way to yourself. So you really do need to start doing your research if you feel those type of energies.
Yeah. See, and I grew up in a church, I played the drums in the church, right? I was an usher, I sung in the choir. I was a great Christian as a child. But when I hit about 13, I had some questions. Okay? My cousin actually was the pastor at our church. So, I mean, my mom's deeply religious. I actually have a cross on my arm, but I don't represent Christianity, right? Because the sleeve represents my family. They're deeply rooted in that belief, and I'm not going to take that away from them, right? But I had questions. And in order to get the answers to those questions, I had to seek knowledge in places that you're told not to, right?
Yeah.
But knowledge is free, so why are you being told you can't seek that knowledge? If I can't get the answer that I need from you or from here, then where am I supposed to get it from, right? I mean, the whole, even with sexuality and just in general with everything, sexuality, ethnicity, everything there's different things that are challenged in biblical text, right? Sexuality, ethnicity, family function, home roles. There's these things that are challenged, right? But they're challenged from a perspective of then, right? You can't move forward with the world if you're still challenging everything from the perspectives of then, right? Some things have changed, right? There's verses that say that you can't wear your hair long if you're a man. Why? What does it take away from you? Right?
Yeah, questions are good. So
you got to ask those questions. Ask them.
But I have a question. What's that book you have?
Oh.
She's reading.
Speaking of research,
do your research. Like, definitely do your research. This is Change Your Aura, Change Your Life. It was given to my spiritual healer. Now listen, I love my spiritual healer. I love everybody. Let me get that out there. I love everybody. But everybody is not always right. Back to the questioning everything. You've got to question everything. I do study the book. There's some stuff in the book I'll be like, nah, I don't trust that, or I don't deal with that, or I don't see that being what I have to do. I remember my spiritual healer told me I need to turn off my psyche. I said, nah, I can't do that. Like, that's me. Like, I turn that off, then what? And, you know, like she was trying to tell me in order to be able to understand my aura reading, to understand what I see, understand what it is, and it was because the book told her to do it. That's what, you know, you got to question everything. Well, why? Well, why is the book telling you to do it? And that's kind of like the whole hierarchy, I guess. People, you know, want control. But you have to make sure that you're doing your own research. I read a lot of books. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to YouTube videos. I listen to I'm willing to listen to everybody and everything. But I don't agree with everybody and everything. Like if I see like if it doesn't sit right with me, or if Spirit is telling me, nah, that's not what you need to do, I don't listen to it. Now this book is helpful on some things, as far as like seeing with auras and understanding exactly what you're seeing, or you know what this may represent that you see around this person. So I definitely use this book to understand what I'm seeing. But there's like a couple of other books, and I forgot, like, it was another book, Sacred Woman is another good book that I like. Now, they do talk about in that book that you shouldn't eat, you shouldn't consume meat. Because you're putting like different spirits in you. I kind of believe that.
I can feel
that.
I kind of believe it.
Torture.
You know,
right.
I kind of believe it a little bit, but then I just came out of basic training, so I had to eat.
Okay.
Yeah.
We all get a little bit, you know, I feel
So does that explain dreams too?
It doesn't explain dreams. It is really.
It's a whole different realm.
It's because okay, see, I had this wild ass dream. Like me and my friends, we were at this party. We snuck into this mansion or whatever, was using their pool. I witnessed a murder. Like the guy who owned the house, he killed his wife. And like, you know, I don't know why I dreamt that, because I don't even know who the person was.
You killed her during a party?
Yeah.
Have you been to any parties lately?
I went to it wasn't a recent dream. It was like 3 weeks ago, but I went to a party last night, so.
And they killed, so he killed.
But
his wife.
finish it. They killed the wife, and then they act like nothing was wrong. They wanted to go back to the party and just
my friends wanted to go back to the party.
Yeah.
Everybody kept telling me to just forget about it.
Yeah.
Just chill, and I just didn't understand why.
And then,
is there something big that you're considering changing or going through that people are telling you not to do?
did you just say that? You said something
or
like
something that
too.
you're seeing that your friends aren't seeing, like.
There's something that you're considering changing that's big, and it's big enough that
Am I changing something?
it's big enough that you've sought counsel in different people, and the counsel that you've received is just forget about it, just don't worry about it. But it's still weighing on you because you haven't gotten an answer.
I feel like people do that with most of my problems.
You know what
They're
I'm
just like, like, forget about it.
Like you haven't gotten the answer that
It's
you're
okay,
looking
girl.
for. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Well, before it gets too
Crazy.
late, let's go ahead and switch to the pod. We're
Yeah.
gonna do some rapid fire questions. We don't usually do it rapid fire, but we're running out of time, so
Yeah.
we're gonna just go through it.
Yeah,
So
that's
we do a little sound effect. I haven't got a soundboard yet. But
sizzle. It's cooking in the pot.
yes. Okay.
I was hoping there was more food in the pot.
I wish it was, girl. Y'all know where I'm going to eat after this. So.
Okay.
Okay. So what's the proper way to like say affirmations? Or what's the way that y'all do it? Let's just go down the like line.
A way to say affirmations
For
is
yourself.
Oh, this doesn't have anything to do with.
It does though.
well,
It connects with it.
Yeah.
I feel like I just write. Like I actually write out my entire. I don't want to say like day, but exactly how I feel, and sometimes I write letters to God. It sounds kind of.
No, that's
No,
good.
that's
That's
perfect.
meditation. Yeah, I was like,
That
that's meditation right there.
I just write letters like that and just like
A lot of people have prayer journals.
yeah,
Yeah.
really
So-
dig into like
Yeah, well,
what
we
it
used to
is
go to
about
church
me
now.
that I need to change. Like I do this maybe like once a week, honestly, to do it for that week, like we were talking. Yeah, and then I do like weekly goals and stuff. But that's how I do it, and I just tell myself what I need to hear, like But I don't really say like. Well, I always tell myself I love myself, but things that I just need to hear that I haven't heard in a long time, or if I'm going through a bad situation with a friend, I try to look at her perspective of something, and just trying to get centered with myself.
What's that?
That's good.
Yourself?
So what I do, I had all types of rules on affirmations. I was listening to too many people. So what works best with me with affirmations is I make sure that whatever I want to do or whatever the goal is that I have for that week, that month, that year. It's been a while since I've done some affirmations. I mean, I do.
I know.
It's been a while since I've actually wrote out the affirmations. So I used to say things like, I'm trying to remember what. Okay, so I would say, I am divinely guided, protected, and what is it? What was it? I am divinely guided, protected. I can't remember what the last one was, but I used to always say I am, because I am is super powerful. Like if you say I am a lot, like I used to say I am, like I used to be like I am broke, like. And
don't say that.
I know, and I used to say that, and I would be broke, and I stopped saying that. So I'm cautious when I say I am. Whatever I tie I am to, I make sure it's something positive. So I'll say I am. I am a money maker. I am a. I should have brought my journals.
Girl, you don't want to
I know, right?
But
yeah, it was like I am a money maker. I am influential. I am a goddess. Yeah, that was my big one. It was I had to really dig deep into my goddess, like my inner goddess self or my inner feminine goddess. I am a god because I do believe that I am a god. I believe that everyone's God, but we all have that power within us. I am like, so I would always say I am, and then I kind of started changing them to where it would just be kind of, it'll flow, stuff will flow in my head, and I'll be like, oh, you can do this. So now it's like, yeah, I know I can. Yeah. So it's always, I always say something like that, and then I used to be, because I was very insecure about like the way that I looked, the way that I dressed. I was super insecure. So I started putting, I am pretty, I am gorgeous, I am flawed, but still flawless. So just kind of like those would be my affirmations that I would say. But you have to find out what works for you. Yeah. I am works for me all the time.
And sometimes reciting prayers work. Like for me, I don't know about anybody else, but I just recite little prayers back to myself. That really helps me get centered and grounded. But yeah.
For me, affirmations happen in 3 phases. Usually in the morning, it's music, some sort of affirmation, mantra, guided meditation, or something that helps me express affirmations of some sort. I do written affirmations, usually like sticky notes in random places throughout my house that are just visual cue affirmations. So it'll be, I'm manifesting money. The future is not sealed but secure. My next level is my best level, whatever. Smile, express gratitude, and just have different cues in different places. I put them on my dashboard, all kinds of places. So I think my dog had some sticky notes on them before. And just it's usually written cues. And then at the end of the day, I usually will do journaling of some sort, and then I'll do like a mantra, like when I'm in the shower, And I'll be like, the day is done, the day is new. I wash, I rinse, become new. Okay. And I'll keep repeating that at least 3 times until I feel the weight of the day lift and rinse away down the drain, and then I'll continue with my day.
Mm-hmm. I'm the type of person I need to shower before I get in my bed every night. If I don't, I sleep on the floor. I don't know what it is. Or I need to wash my feet. Is that weird? Like before I get in my bed? Okay. Somebody thought I was weird. I'm like, it's weird.
No, not to shower.
Or even if some people don't shower before you go to sleep because you might have a drunk night or something. But even on like a night, I'm like, we gotta wash these feet at least. Hold on, let's wash the leg.
I used to have a guy that I used to date, and I think I was 21, and he was 28, and he used to wash my feet, and he had told me the reason why he washes my feet was he worships the ground that I walk on. So that could be your inner goddess saying, let me wash my feet because I have to worship the God that I am. So, that's why like you said, that's why I was like, no, because now I will make sure like I go through and I wash my feet. But he used to do it like every time he would come over to my house, he would just wash, like that would just be like our intimacy. Like we would be like extremely intimate. He would just wash my feet.
And then foot massages?
Yes.
Okay,
I need a I mean, we're good friends now, but
we good friends.
His life.
Okay. Lucky. But next question? Or you? No, you have your affirmation.
My affirmations. Yeah. Okay, so when I get up, I have to pray immediately because I have like anxiety, so I feel like something's gonna be wrong if I don't do it. But then I also like meditate, and I have to have the headphones on so that way it feels like I'm submerged. And then like I'm a smoker, obviously, so I have to get high when I do it. And I write a lot, and yeah, like, and I dance. And then like another thing I do, like I post a lot on my story, or like I record myself like anytime I'm doing stuff, because like I like to watch myself back and like give myself critiques, or like, you know, find what I like about what I did or whatever, because I don't know, it's kind of conceited, but like I like to do that shit.
I do the same thing.
Not at all.
Yeah, no, it's not just you.
Okay, great,
It's a good
cool.
thing.
So let's go.
It
And
is.
next thing, it's rapid fire. What's the next?
That wasn't rapid.
Do you think people can remember past lives? Well,
We already talked
So
about
we
that.
talked about
Yes.
that.
I will say I do feel you on the deja vu thing. I'll have like a flashback and I'll feel like, damn, my spirit or my soul. But I don't think about who I was, like if I was a psychic or what kind of, if I was a queen, a king, you know.
You never went into something and you're like, oh my God, I know how to do that. And you're like, wait a minute. I don't know how to
Yeah,
do that. But you
it's
do
really
know,
good.
right?
I pick up on things like really quickly. Like I
Yeah.
can learn stuff.
That's your
really
past
fast.
life.
Sometimes it's just you putting the physical motion back into what you've already been doing.
Damn,
Like riding a
that's
bike.
talented.
You've been riding the
Exactly.
same spiritual bike for 3 billion years. You're not going to forget when you get back this lifetime.
So what do you guys say to people that are skeptical about your talents?
Everybody's been, I mean, I say that everybody's been skeptical of everything. I mean, the earth being round was based in skepticism. Light, skepticism. Communication in your pocket, skepticism. So
are you
I mean,
based on convincing anybody? How would you convince
it's not
someone?
necessary for me to convince you.
Convince
Your
you,
spirit will
yeah.
convince
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
I don't have to convince people. That's the
Okay.
thing. When I think that people are drawn to their paths.
Yeah.
I love guiding people. I'm actually working on getting some stuff set up, doing mentoring, couples mentoring, where I do like a cooking class, but we do spiritual discovery.
Oh, okay. That's like some nice, sexy kind of thing. I like that.
So
Okay. When can we expect this?
this is actually coming now. We have these classes available now. They start at like $275, but it's a dinner for two.
Okay.
And we do some really deep soul diving. We have
That's dope as
conversations.
And where do they look us up? Flaming
You
Catering?
can go to Tropical Flame Catering on
Tropical
Instagram
Flame.
or on Facebook. That's the website. The information for this actual seminar itself is coming out very soon. I'm working on the graphics and things myself now, so they'll be coming out very soon. But it's gonna tie into a lot of different things. I mean, cooking in and of itself is a very sexual act.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if I don't make your crust, you can't make my pizza. Right?
Okay.
I mean, it's very
Okay.
simple like that.
Okay.
Shit.
If you won't do your part, then I
I
can
wanna-
guarantee you that she won't do hers.
Right.
So now we all gonna be hungry. I mean, we can all sit here and be hungry, or we can learn to work together, right?
Mhm.
Right.
And I'm very specific. Like, no, there's no compromise on it. It's not necessary. You shouldn't have to compromise on your power. It should just be respected, right?
Yeah. That's
So,
I'll snap to that.
That should
shit.
be something that you should be able to do. It's not a conflict point. You work as a unit, so yeah.
So we pretty much like asked everything like in the pod, like we were talking about it already,
Yeah,
which is dope as
right.
fuck. Like I mean, that's cool that we vibed like that.
Yeah.
So I think like the only thing I want to know is like what other things. I mean, besides what you just mentioned, like what other things can we look out for? Like what's something that you really want people to know about you?
You wanna go
Go
first?
ahead.
You go first. Go ahead. I'll go next.
I'm a dancer. No.
Hey.
I'll be coming back to NS Dance Space and a couple other studios in the DFW. So
Come see us tomorrow. Speaking of, I'll be working the front door. You coming
Hey.
to class tomorrow?
I am. I'm gonna. Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
Shout out to
yeah.
Napis. It was her birthday. Happy
Yes,
birthday,
happy
Napis.
birthday,
Okay.
So I will be coming back. So look out for videos. I'll start posting more dance videos. That's another way I'm connected to spirit through dance.
That is very
Mhm.
spiritual.